Shalom, Israel. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakadash. Double honors to the beloved elders and apostles at Great Millstone that taught me this truth, and peace and salutations to all you hopeful that doctor out there laboring by pushing this word with truth and sincerity. This is going to be kind of impromptu and in transit, so I'm not going to be able to pull as many scriptures as I want to in my normal lessons. But I wanted to just speak a few things on a video that I just came across on Instagram. And the brother did make a few points, even though you can tell this guy's not in the truth. What he's talking about is the same things that, along the same lines that, you know, the prophets have been speaking on. Talking about the transfer from a regular currency, which is the US dollar, fiat currencies, over to the digital system that the WEF, World Economic Forum, the Bilderberg groups, etc., are going into the great so-called reset. And that is just pretty much destroying the system that's already in place. Because as we know, two kings cannot sit on the same throne. And a lot of people know the term as cash is king. But when a new digital currency comes on, you know, it's not going to be even compared to the last rulership. Even though you're still going to be doing the same things, either buying and selling, but the amount and how is going to be very different. Because, you know, Agenda 2030, a lot of the points that they're talking about is talking about everyone getting a basic income, you know, that is given to a certain person. And they're already doing a test run in Chicago right now. I believe for a certain amount of months, I want to say it's like 3 to 6 months, they're giving all the Chicagoans $500. But what that's going to be doing is getting people ready for the Great Reset when it actually finally does come. So once that happens, this old system is not going to be taken into account at all. It's going to be wiped away. So with people that own these houses, that or even maybe not own them, they're just paying mortgage on it, you know, those same people are going to be the majority of people that kind of lose it because of all the years and years and years of hard work that they put to be able to afford a house like that. Then when the new system comes, you know, let's say you bought a house in the last 2 years, right? When the new system comes, you're going to have it in your mind, oh, I just bought this house, all this hard work is going to go down the drain, I might as well comply to get by, you know, I might as well just go along to get along. But those same type of people are going to be the ones that are going to be running to the Karagma stations, because the digital currency, you know, it may start out by everybody having a certain amount in their bank account, you know, having an app like they have on your phone that you just scan it. But eventually, prophecy says that it's going to be inserted in your right hand or your forehead. And that's that charagma. Doesn't matter if it's in your right hand, your forehead, your left hand, your right butt cheek, you know, as long as you willingly bowed down and accepted the beast system, then you are no longer a part of Yashar Allah, even if you are Yashar Allah, even if you are an Israelite, being a so-called Negro, Latino, Native American, because 2/3 of our people are going to go down that road and they're going to fold. You know, Abarataza, you know, the spirit, the Lord keeps the spirit on me, you know, to endure through all those guaranteed tribulations that are going to be coming across the whole world. You know, so I do know that I'm kind of rambling here a little bit, but, you know, it's kind of in the spirit. Just wanted to get this on my mind because this has been talked about a lot this week. And like I said, this video that I saw, I'm not going to be able to pull it up on the screen, but I'm going to play it on the speakers so that you can hear it. But you can just listen to what this guy's saying, and you can see how it's coming into fruition very quickly. And it's going to be a reality of everybody that thought that the Karagma isn't what the elders and apostles, starting with the elders and apostles at Great Millstone, have been saying for years, you know. And there's going to be no doubt in anybody's mind when they start lobbing heads off, start chopping heads off and stuff like that, because people don't want to get down with the system. then they're really going to be flocking towards all the prophets that they knew were even talking about it. But they're all going to want the truth from the original source, which is who were the first group that was going on the highways and byways and pushing prophecy since the beginning. That the MOT to the B was the Charagma. That is, again, the elders and apostles at Great Millstone. And the only people that don't want to accept that is the people that have an emotional reason to not like Great Millstone. Doesn't matter what their doctrine is, even though they know it may be correct, for the fact that they have an emotional damage, type mentality, like that goop going around. Emotional damage is what a lot of these Israelite groups have, because they're too pussified, really, to take rebuke because of the society that they've been built up and raised in, So you got to be able to take rebuke and hear prophecy, because I know originally coming into the truth, a question that I had in my head was, what is the truth? And then another thought that was in my head, and this is real talk, that I don't care what the truth is, I just want to know the truth. And when I first found the truth, there was a couple things that made me think twice, like, oh damn, that's what that meant. But every single thing that the elders and apostles brought out that maybe not have sat right with me right out of the back, I actually took a step back from the world point of view and from my emotions and looked at it only through the scriptures and how it's logically benefiting a society. Then you really start to realize why certain laws are in effect, because a couple laws that would bug somebody's head out is if there's two men fighting, and this is in the law, I believe it's Leviticus, and it may be in Deuteronomy, so don't quote me there. But if two men are fighting, and let's say one man is losing, and his wife sees that he's losing, and she goes and grabs that man's rod that her husband's fighting with, you know what they're supposed to do? They're supposed to cut her hands off. And he's not even supposed to pity her. Oh man, baby, I'm sorry, I gotta cut your hand off. Good job, I'm sorry. No, you're not even supposed to do that. Or if you have an unruly child, let's say that he just can't get right. He's just being a hellraiser. He's just being a little shit. What are you gonna do in the ancient world? That's the law. You're supposed to take him to the priest, and he's gonna get stoned as an example for all the Israelites that see that judgment, to put fear and correction in all the rest of the Israelites that they don't do that. All the little kids see, oh damn, little Jimmy got put to death, it's gonna make a lot of other kids, stand up straighter and listen to their parents. I'm sure a lot of extra chores were being done around the Israelite community in the other households after the kids saw that one of their friends got put to death for not listening to their parents. Or what about the husband that his wife was committing adultery and was gone for a certain amount of time? I don't remember if it was 4 days, 7 days, or whatever. But he finally caught up to her, and he was hiding out and she was hiding out in her father's house. And so when the husband went over there and she was out doing her thing, he went to go leave to get his wife, and she was getting ran through and a train run on her, and so she was passed out at her father's doorstep. So what did that husband do of that wife? He took her out, he chopped her in fucking 12 pieces and sent those 12 pieces to every single one of the tribes, the heads of the tribes, so that it can put fear in all Israel for the women that want to commit adultery. But to this world, they'd be like, oh my gosh, oh man, what would you do that? It's women's lib, right? All this bullshit. Well, hey, you wouldn't have those issues at home. You wouldn't have these women running rampant up and down the street with their coochie out, hopping to dick, Tom, Dick, and Harry. If these women actually moved with the fear of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, as the law says in the scriptures. But we understand that the law in this day and age is impossible to keep. I'm gonna say it right now. The law is impossible to keep because we are in a wicked society. We are in a society that is so far gone, that is so saturated in wickedness, it's impossible to be righteous. And I could go on and examples, go down to the type of clothes you wear, to the meat that you eat, being, even if it's beef and chicken, clean meat, it's not clean. It wasn't killed correctly. And then how long was it in the butcher shop and then going through the slaughterhouse before it actually got to your plate? Was it less than 3 days? Because if it was more than 3 days, then you're not supposed to touch the meat. you know. Concrete has ground up bones in it from animals, because you have to add a calcium deposit to pour concrete in certain cold weather conditions, you know. And concrete in general has a amount of calcium in it, because that is a chemical reaction that makes it harden quicker. And I know this because I work in construction. As you can see, my nail bags are right behind me, you know. So I see all this stuff every day, you know, of how wicked this place is. You look at an apartment building complex and it's wicked as hell. You know, you're not supposed to have that many houses that close together. And then also, you're not supposed to have houses any more than 3 stories. Because in a case of a fire or an earthquake, you can jump off of a building. I don't want to say jump off in the middle of an earthquake, but let's say the building was on fire. You could, you know, jump off a 3-story building and still live. You know, I'm not saying you wouldn't have maybe a broken arm or a rib or something like that from landing, but you'd be able to live. Not like these skyscrapers that go on fire, like the one in China last week, and the people were just jumping off the building to kill themselves. Like you saw that also in 9/11 as well. You know, you see a bunch of videos of people just jumping down because they couldn't get past the stairwell because it was on fire. You know, there's so many things that this society has deemed as normal, that if you look at it in the scriptures, is completely off. And you know, I know I'm going away from the point, CBDC and digital currencies, but you know, like I said, it's flowing through the spirit. You know, it's all connected at the end of the day. But like I said, I want to play this video and show it to you guys. But all he is he's talking. It's a talking head, so there's no point to show you. But Abba Ratazar, you can hear this and be edified.
Peace, y'all. This for the people that don't understand digital currency. Your USD is not going to convert over to digital currency. Your money in your bank is your money and credit. All of that shit is still USD dollar. Okay, all of that has to reset for them to push this new currency that they've already been had out waiting for us. Some people,
because they already, like you said, that they've been had, which means these plans have been formulated into a really detailed list of 1, 2, 3, and 4 things to do before they actually collapse the system. That's why you saw the jungle juice come out with a lot of people rolling up their sleeve. That was a test run to see how many people would be gullible enough of an invisible boogeyman to actually go run and get an unknown object inserted into their body with no knowledge of the effects that it will have on you. So, you know, this devil has been doing test runs since before we even knew about the Illuminati or any of these dark secret societies. You know, going back to, you know, the 17, 18, you know, 1400s, when these devils were barely getting into power, they were starting to formulate their plan for world domination. But it's all the will of Yahweh Shem Yahushai by putting it into their mind, thinking that their enterprise is going to be able to succeed. But we understand that it's not. But there's certain things that are going to happen until it finally goes. So I'm going to let this video keep playing.
Are stubborn as hell. They want more and more and more and more and more time, when the government is like, fuck no, we're not giving y'all no more time to do nothing. And there's people out here that's like, oh no, it takes time. This is not going to take any more time. The US dollar doesn't have any more value for the clueless people that's out there. This thing is not going to carry on for 3, 2, even 1 more year. Really? Other countries are not taking this worthless ass currency no more. So that's what's something that y'all have to realize. This thing has to go. All the USD has to go. Digital currency looks completely different from USD. And why would something useless convert to something that has value?
Good point.
It makes 0 sense. So for the people that needs to know that, it makes 0 sense. Everything that you have is about to go if you do not use it. Me saying the banks are closing, not for good, duh. It's going to be a reset. They're going to close for temporary times. That's what I mean by close. Why would they close total in general when they have a new currency already out, ready to go? This place has to fall first. Then someone comes to the rescue. Who's going to be the rescuer? That's all we need to be thinking about. Peace. Prepare.
And we know that this devil always uses order out of chaos, which is one of their sayings. And Latin is ordo de chaos, something like that in Latin. I don't remember the exact way to say it. But, what you understand is that they create the problem. They have the reaction that they've caused, and then they give you the solution. Problem, reaction, solution, So they're the ones that created the problem in the first place. They're the ones that are going to respond to the problem that they created, even though they already know what they're going to do. And then they're going to give you the solution, which the ultimate solution is going to be the hour of temptation. They're gonna have to push the society to the brink of people that are literally going to have to plead for the Karagma. You're going to have literally people begging to get Karagma up. They're going to be selling people out that don't want to get Karagma up because they think that they're going to be the ones that are perpetuating the issue of whatever is going to go on in the world, which for a fact there's going to be lawlessness, which people just killing each other, running and gunning down the street, no fucks given, laying down whole families. And then you're going to have famine, because war and famine go hand in hand. Peanut butter and jelly, they go along together. You're going to have a total breakdown of city services. That's your water going to your house. That's your garbage pickup. That's your sewer systems that get maintained by the city, that they don't get clogged up and everyone's got sewer smell coming through their house. Which is, a lot of people don't know this, but there's a little J. It looks like a little U underneath your sink, and when that water gets evaporated, which is only about that much water that's blocking the smell, as soon as that water gets evaporated, you have a direct line from the sewer going into your house. So a lot of these houses that are going to be sitting vacant when shit hits the fan, if you don't open that bitch up and you see a dead body all rotting the house already, what you're going to smell is direct sewer. You're going to smell human shit coming through the faucets, coming through the sink, coming through the toilet, coming through the shower drain, because it's people that are using the water in their houses that keeps water in there, that keeps the water in that P-trap is what it's called. The technical term for it's called a P-trap, because it holds a little bit of water. And as soon as that's done, because nobody's using water or has access to water, you know how much stink is going to be in the air, and that's what people don't realize, all the little things. People don't really know how to deal with the elements when it gets too cold or it gets too hot, because everyone's so used to either having AC and heating in their houses. So we're coming into some times that these Babylonians and these Americans that have been living in comfort their whole life are not ready for it. And that's why a lot of these Babylonians are going to resort to animalistic means to get what they need, whether they got to kill somebody, because we know as American society, they don't shy away from violence. Let history be your best teacher. When has this country ever shied away from violence or doing something violently to get what they need? That's how they got this whole country. You don't think that they're going to do something, as small as, getting some water for their family? They're going to think as that, killing a whole family just to provide for their family, as doing what they got to do. I'm just doing what I got to do to support my family. All right, well, you're going to go kill a whole nother family just to get what you need? That's the type of mentality that's in these people's minds. Not to mention that the majority of this nation is now so-called not a Christian nation, even though even being a Christian nation, it didn't stop them from being wicked. But you have to understand that these devils are only going to get worse and worse and worse and worse until the time of Jacob's trouble pops off, and it's something that you've only seen in movies type society. Going into your Purge movies, going into what's another good one? The Book of Eli. What's another one? I Am Legend. Not to say that zombies won't be out here, because hey, you can't put the Lord in a box, because guess what? Anything's possible. So you have to understand that a lot of these things are going to that you see in movies are actually going to come into fruition. So I did want to get a scripture before I get off this stream, but I wanted to get this because a lot of people are going to die. 2nd Esdras 9:22, it reads, "Let the multitude perish then, which was born in vain, and let my grape be kept, and my plant, for with great labor have I made it perfect." And the only people that are going to be perfect are going to be the elect, because that is the remnant that's going to get delivered out of Babylon the Great, you know, and all over the world, because the elect is not just in Babylon the Great, but the majority is, because this is where the bulk of the prophets are, you know, in the valley of the shadow of death, which is Babylon the Great, which is why, you know, we're out here prophesying every week, doing videos every day, making sure that this word is getting out there, that the warning is getting broadcasted through the unicorn, which is the internet, which brings the message to the four corners of the earth instantly. Because you can't tell me some third world country that's a third world country doesn't have access to a Wi-Fi area, you know, doesn't have access to any sort of computers. I mean, I understand, you know, there is places like that, but for the majority of the world, and it actually reaching every single country in the world, that you can go on YouTube and look up the video in subtitles. So, you know, there's no excuse anymore. Everyone has a phone in their pocket. Everyone has access to information. And like what I always like to say, that in the age of information, you know, ignorance is a choice. You know, these people love to put their head in the sand and not look at the issues around them, because it either causes anxiety, it makes them feel some type of way. They don't like looking at it because it ruins their day. It's all doom and gloom. Man, you know what? Those type of people literally piss me off so bad that they'd rather be taken and sideswiped by these things that are going to happen in the world than actually know what's coming. So you're telling me you'd rather not know how to prepare for what's coming, and then just be asked out when it does? Or are you going to actually do what you can to prepare your family, to prepare yourself first and foremost, spiritually before carnally? Because yeah, you could go get a couple extra cases of water, some canned foods, a means to defend yourself, but none of that's gonna matter if you're not covered by the protection and the blood of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and ultimately Yahweh Shai, because he's the one that is given for as a savior for Israel, so that we can get redeemed, which means bought back. And how do we get bought back? By blood. Just like we made a blood covenant with Yahweh on the bottom of Mount Sinai by the sprinkling of the blood from Moses and Aaron on all the congregation of Israel, to what it is today, for the blood sprinkling on us of Yahweh Shai, which is why we also do Passover. You know, we do the high holy days. We just had the Day of Atonement 2 weeks ago. So, you know, a lot of these things are put into place so that you can do the best of your ability, you know, to do what you got to do as a man. You know, an Israelite man, is his reasonable service is to do what I'm doing right now. You know, to give yourself as a living sacrifice for the body, you know, for your own people. Now, because what's more manly than sticking up for your own people? You know, there's nothing more manlier than that, especially going in this world, you know, in the high populated areas and the chief places of concourse, and standing up to this devil and prophesying and saying that he's going to go into captivity to his face. Man, that's that great boldness. So, you know, I'm gonna close out this lesson with a scripture, because I'm getting close to my destination. But I'm gonna get Wisdom of Solomon 5:1. Wisdom of Solomon 5:1 says, "Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him, and it made no account of his labors." Because we're not answering to anybody of why we're doing this, because we know in our spirit that this is what we should be doing, you know, in the correct doctrine. Because you got a lot of these bug out camps and these bug out jakes that, yeah, it's good that you know you're an Israelite, yeah, it's good that you know that what tribe you're from, but that's not enough. You know, just knowing you're an Israelite is not enough. You got to have the correct doctrine and the correct scriptures to back it up. Because, hey, if you're not feeding your people with good food, you're not going to get healthy people. You're going to get sick people, you know, and sick people by going into your mind first and foremost. You know, these people have to be given the correct warning, given the correct doctrine, you know. So that's why it is of the utmost importance that if you're doing this thing, to make sure that what you're giving the information out there is correct, you know? So, you know, we're in those times, and it's only gonna get worse. It's only gonna get worse. And this thing talking about September 24th, we'll see. You know, Abaratazah, something big happens, something catastrophic happens, you know? Because they're tired of this place. I'm tired of going to work, man. You know, and I know I speak, you know, for all Israelites. You know, we're tired of this captivity. And this time of Jacob's trouble is going to be it. You know, once Jacob's trouble is on and popping, you know that our Lord is right around the corner. You know? So this anticipation, this waiting, when it finally does happen, it's gonna seem like nothing. You know? Just like, you know, let's say you go on a nice vacation, you take a trip, right? The weeks prior to that, man, it seems like it's taking forever. But then you're actually in the vacation and poof, it goes by that quick. Not to say Jacob's trouble is going to be a vacation, but I'm just saying when it's done, and it's all said and done, it's gonna be like a blink of an eye. You know, we're going to be changed in a twinkling of an eye. You know, and that's what our faith is at. You know, that's what we hope for. That's what we can't wait, you know, for the day of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. You know, while the rest of this world is going through it, Abaratazah, the elect, you know, is going to be okay. You know, because we understand that a certain amount of elect are going to get grabbed up, are going to be thrown into camps, are going to get beheaded, but the majority of the elect is going to be all right. You know, and that's our faith, and that's why we do this thing. So, you know, with that being said, you know, Abaratazah, that this lesson be edifying to the elect. You know, with that being said, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakakadash. Double honors to the beloved elders and apostles like Great Millstone that taught me this truth, and peace and salutations to all you who feel like Akim out there laboring by pushing this word in truth and sincerity. And with that being said, I'd like to say DTA and a ball soon. Shalom.